All right, well, I'm good if you are.
Yeah, me too.
Move on.
It's buffering, or am I supposed to click play? I'm supposed to...
I think you need to click play. Or
That's,
maybe it is buffering.
That's how YouTube
The
works.
Chodak are gone.
Aha!
The Chodak took the isolinear rod and brought
Like previously on the
Captain
show,
Picard,
the last line that Troy said.
Captain Picard is just standing there going, "Really? I hadn't noticed." Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and this is my buddy Joe Mastriani from the Upper Memory Blog podcast. How are you, sir?
I am
But the panel
wonderful.
is still active.
Hey, and we are playing Star Trek: The Next Generation of Final Unity, which is going splendidly. I think
Yes, and I think we're going to be finishing Star Trek: The Next Generation of Final Unity.
Yes, I know for a fact we are going to be finishing.
Wonderful.
This is actually something I only realized on this playthrough, and I played the game many times, but there's actually a sort of a log from the Chodak rebels who sent the Unity device into the future that they sort of voiced because they really wanted people to listen to it, and now I'm talking over it. But, you know,
Well, you just have to play the game if you want to hear it properly.
yeah, that's exactly it. Where are you going to get
No
the game?
spoilers,
No one
right?
knows. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and that part always kind of confused me a bit, and the game will happily continue even if you don't know what the plot actually is, but the Unity device is a huge, big weapon, essentially. It can create life, it can destroy life, no one really knows how it works, but the Chodak built this giant empire out of it. And some Chodak kind of thought that, well, this is a little too powerful for us. You know what we should do? Should we disable it? No. Should we try a political campaign? No. You know what? Let's send it into the future.
That's a good plan.
There's a plan. And the Chodak Empire is like millions and millions of years old, or something, thousands of years old, and they sent the device into the future, and now we are actually at the point when the Unity device is supposed to arrive in the present.
Security rod is stuck in the panel.
And
I'm the whiny Chodak.
yes, how these fucking aliens built an entire empire is no one's guess. How do they operate these rods? It seems like a really bad technology if you're like a zygote
they don't
stuck
have
in a
like
fish tank.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny when you start thinking about things a little bit too hard.
Yes, not usually one of my problems, but this is actually a nice shot of Brodnack. And did you notice like the black holes behind his eyes?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that's funny there is a bit of a disconnect. Like the ship is really cool and like really 3D modeled, and then Brodnack is still kind of a cartoon.
Yeah, he's still 2D. Although, I actually agree, the Chodak ships that they designed for this are fucking badass looking.
Yeah, they're really cool. Like they're chunky and they look like they're powerful.
Mm-hmm. And again, built by tiny little bobbly creatures in fish tanks. I don't know how they.
So
did
here's the joke that we were
Yeah.
referring to in the last episode.
And he doesn't even unroll the paper clip, which I would assume you had to do.
I mean, it's the 24th century. You don't have to, you know.
And he's the chief
They've
engineer.
They've obviously improved CD-ROM emergency ejector technology.
Yeah, actually, all you have to do is wave the paperclip in front of the hole, and there's a sensor in there that goes emergency eject.
The funny thing is, like, I can't remember. I think I've only finished this game once. So I think this is the first time I've gotten this far since like 1995. And it almost makes me wonder if that puzzle, because it's so out of it really is out of time, right? It doesn't fit in the world of the game. I wonder if that really made people get stuck, because it's like kind of a stupid solution in the context of Star Trek.
It's a stupid solution nowadays. I mean, we are what. I'm bad at math, but like 20 years later, let's just say, and it's an archaic solution to a problem now. No one has optical drives anymore.
No one has optical drives, and I don't think I've ever seen a piece of paper on Star Trek. So I don't know why you'd have a paperclip.
Exactly, and they must be looking at it going, what a strange alien device. How does this work? Ow, I poked a hole in my skin.
This is a very oddly twisted piece of metal.
How long do we have before it arrives? It will enter
Then, of course, there's going to be one guy, like in Voyager, Tom Paris or whatever, who's totally into the 20th century. He's like, oh, yeah, this is an ancient device for fixing pieces of hard copy document together.
Oh, if there's one thing I genuinely hate about science fiction is that there's always one guy who is fascinated with the 20th century
It's
demolition.
like with the exact, exact time we live in.
And it's just so, it's so cringy because
Unity device is
I don't even like the time we live in. What this person is so fascinated with, especially the Sandra Bullock and Demolition Man. It's just, what the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, pet peeve.
I mean, at least we have restaurants that aren't Taco Bell.
Captain,
Yes, but I'm still waiting on that rat burger. It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It seems to have been a tool for engineering.
Helpfully, Troy and Picard are now recapping the plot that I just explained at the end of the previous episode.
Creating the
There
device
we
has the
go.
power to
It's always good to
destroy
have
as
these
well.
little...
Yeah.
I guess in a long game, it's good sometimes, I find, in long games, or, you know, where you've gone away for a while to have a way to remember where you're at.
And I think they must have realized that it was getting a bit hard to follow at this point, because there's been all this build-up, and you've basically been off doing, like, isolated away missions that have been loosely tied together, very, very loosely. This loose thread of Chodeki stuff happening.
Right, and I find it's funny, like, this generally happens to me a bit more in, like, you know, JRPGs or stuff, like games where you're playing for like 40, 50, 60 hours, and I actually stop at one point. When I'm about like 3/4 of the way through the game, I try and think back. I'm like, how did this game start? And what was the situation? And what's the situation now? Because they're totally 100% different.
Yeah.
Diameter.
Final Fantasy
Like, it
VII
doesn't happen as
especially.
much it doesn't happen as much in like adventure games, I find, but yeah, really long RPGs, that tends to happen to me.
I believe we found the Unity device. Take us in, number one.
I like the fact that, well, Riker's been on the bridge all this time,
Leaning.
and Troy and Picard just explained the entire plot to them. They come up to this huge thing. I mean, look at this thing. It looks really alien. And the first words that tumble out of Riker's mouth are, "Is it a Dyson sphere?" No! Were you awake?
I told you what it was.
Yes. We just recapped the plot for you, dingus.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Early 3D texturing.
Now what? Where are we? There we go.
Penetrate the device structure, but
And now the game will solve a puzzle for you.
probably hollow.
Yeah.
Can you find a suitable
No, wait, actually, no. We're supposed to get into a little bit of a testing of metal first, and then...
The device is not fully
Again, Riker is just really on the ball. I don't recommend using the transporter. Why not? Well, because it looks fucking dangerous, sir.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do you need to know why not? It's just dangerous. Like,
The sensors are also picking up a large
this is data. He's not going to be like,
quantity
because I don't
around the
feel
device,
like it.
as
There's a
well
good
as
reason.
residual radiation.
I've noticed in the first 2 seasons of the show, Lieutenant Worf is the person who's always the voice of reason, and no one listens to him.
Yeah, no one ever listens to Worf.
Yeah.
Go look on YouTube. There's like many minutes, like 10, 15-minute videos of Worf getting shot down.
Greetings, Captain Picard.
Oh, look who's back.
Oh, hello! And this is why I actually want to play the game as a complete failure, because I want to see what happens at the end here.
Right, if you killed her.
You can kill her right at the start of it, but we're trying to do good this time. So she shows up.
I suspect that anyone foolish enough to discharge their weapons near the device would suffer the
That
same
is an
fate.
important line of
And it
dialogue.
appears that
Aha.
both have incentives for
Well, in just a second, a Chodak ship will show up and arm its weapons, and you get a dialogue box that either says "do nothing" or "return fire."
Yeah, return fire and lose game.
Yes.
Or
Yeah, it's basically, are you sick of this game yet? Because, you know, you have...
you can just stop now.
Yeah, you can
what
just
are your
stop now.
intentions here?
I intend to win the Unity device for Garrett. It will take a miracle to restore
Again,
order
Garrett,
to
it's
my
like this.
world.
All of a sudden in this game,
Perhaps
the
this device
Garidians
is
are like this
viral.
very powerful, you know, race that has all this technology and blah blah blah, and we've never heard of them before.
No.
Except everyone knows who they are.
And apparently they share a lot of technology with the Romulans. They're basically like a sister race.
Yeah.
And, but they've apparently they've just kept out of the Federation's way until now, because they can't run their society for shit.
You appear. Prepare to die.
He actually
Uh-oh.
said prepare to die.
They have locked onto us. They are closing.
Yeah, here we go. Lock faces and fire. I'm sick of this shit. I was just told 30 seconds ago that if I shoot anything, everything will blow up.
Everything will blow
I
up, so we won't do that.
hostility, but also deception.
Ah,
I
Marina
sense
Sirtis.
hostility. I sense hostility from the people that are actively attacking us.
Yes. And I think Marina Sirtis must have looked at that line in the script going, really?
Yeah,
I have to say
more of
this
this.
again?
It is a coded binary signal. The transmission is opening
Binary.
a large
Old
access
school.
port on the surface of the device.
The Dreadnought has launched a shuttlecraft.
That was
It is
fast.
heading towards the access port. The Garidian
See, it's funny because Riker's like,
will
"Is it a
launch
Dyson sphere?"
shuttlecraft.
And they're like, "No,
Mr.
idiot, it's
Wolf,
not a Dyson
assemble
sphere." We just explained
security
what it was,
team
and it's like,
and
"Oh, they're opening the
shuttle
door to go inside the thing,
Data.
sort of like a Dyson sphere."
Observation number 1. Captain, I know what you're going to say, Will, but
Oh.
I'm not going to stay here.
And there's Will with one L.
Yeah, that's. I've always wondered because at one point in the first season, I believe he calls him Bill, which is the short for William. A thing that I've never really understood about the English language is how Bill is the short form of William, but he does call him
Yeah.
Bill in the first episode. I think, like Encounter at Firepoint.
Yeah, I guess they hadn't quite hammered down, what everyone's familiar names are.
Oh, and you don't get to select your away team here because it's technically not an away team. They don't go to the transporter room. So now I have to take Ensign Fuckface along.
Aha, there you go. It's like we finally. I almost wonder if you had been actively avoiding that. If they're like, no, we're gonna force you to do it one time, so you take Ensign whoever the hell.
It appears to be in a synchronous
Because it's
orbit
probably
around
like the
device.
game director's face digitized
only
onto
a
something
moon.
or some crap.
I like this one. Data just gets all up in this moon's spot and just goes, oh, it appears to be in an asynchronous orbit. This is interesting. And I switch to Worf. It is just the moon. Let us go on.
Appears to have any bearing on our
It's
mission.
like, this sucks. Why am I here?
Worf is not.
I'm not a merry man.
Yeah.
It is part of the life.
And actually, it's a weird thing to bring like Ensign, whoever the hell, along on this mission because this is like a really important key thing. The entire Federation is at stake. But no, let's give Ensign Fuckface her working pips. Let's put her
Right.
through the ringer.
Focal point of a transporter. Anyone
I almost want to,
stepping
like,
on
obviously I don't think that happens, but maybe if they forced you to do it here, it would have been because someone had to be killed here, and they couldn't obviously kill any of the main characters.
Yeah, that's
But
actually.
obviously I don't think that's the case.
It is not the case. She does disappear. You basically lose your away team here. Everyone goes on the transporter pad and gets beamed somewhere. No one knows. But it just basically isolates Captain Picard. He shows up on the other side, and you'll never hear from the away team again for the entire rest of the game. So welcome to the Unity device.
So you got nothing. No inventory,
Tricorder are gone.
But
just Picard.
just Picard, and a lot of Patrick Stewart dialogue. So
Which is enjoyable at the very least.
this is oiling up your nipples time. Sorry, I am wearing pants, of course.
Of course. We didn't talk about that before recording.
No. You didn't hear an awful sound effect you wish you could erase from your memory. No. Anyway, this is a representation of the Unity device, which I think they must have had a lot of fun recording because it's like 3 or 4 people speaking the same line at the same time.
Where's my away team?
I just wanted to be in the room when these, because they're no-name voice actors just standing around a single microphone. We are the, and they speak very slowly so they're in sync.
It's sort of like Borgish a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, actually, the first Borg episode, they have the "We are the Borg, do not something something." It's actually 3 production assistants all crowded around one microphone, if I remember.
Oh, really?
correctly.
Is? See, I thought they just used like some
To the matter before
post effect or whatever.
No, it's 3 different people speaking at once.
Tests.
I guess that would make sense.
Probably doubled up a lot in post production.
to the future. Set
And
up
I
a
imagine,
new
especially again back in
system
like 1987, 1988, it was
power.
a little bit more difficult to do audio post effects like that. Like you'd have tape and
Yeah.
all that crap. So now you just throw it into Audition or whatever and add effect.
Yeah, the first thing I did when I got a hold of what is now called Adobe Audition, but was called Cool Edit at the time, and my first microphone, and this is back probably when this game came out actually, maybe a little before, 94, 95. The first thing I did was to try and replicate the Sludge Vohal voice from Space Quest 4,
Aha!
which is Scott Murphy, who did the voice for it, him speaking normally, and then they copy and pasted that voice file and just pitched it down, and then they played the 2 voice files simultaneously.
So that's cool.
Easy effect, but very creepy. And
Yes.
this is the cutscene where they actually throw a lot of expositionary dialogue at us, so I took the liberty, as I said in the last video, of subtitling this. You'll have to forgive me, the subtitles are really ugly, but I did my best.
I don't know. Looks fine to me.
Exactly what form they will take.
Brodnack, oh, I misspelled his name.
Always determined rank.
Trials,
No CK or something.
it's just Brodnack, with no, it's not broad, he's not the opposite
He's
of
not
narrow.
broad. I mean, he is pretty broad.
Galaxy.
Yeah, well, his vocal range certainly is.
Yeah, I mean his fish tank thing is pretty wide.
Yeah. I'm not fat. I just swim very slowly. And it's basically just three 3D models on a stationary object, and they just pan the camera around. But I actually think this looks pretty damn good. At least
it's a cool effect.
Yeah. Now it turned into 2001. Cheap Odyssey.
Or Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
That too, yes.
When Spock's going through the acid trip.
And actually, the whole above the Unity device thing actually gave me some V'ger flashbacks
Yeah,
as well.
V'ger-esque.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they would have done with V'ger if they had, like, you know, special effects technology.
And as long as we're comparing shit to shit, this bit, when they fly into it, reminds me of... what's the planet in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Oh,
the one that manufactures planets.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the...
What?
Margaretha? Is that it? Or is that another one?
Magrathea.
Magrathea, yeah, I knew it started with M, and there was a G in there somewhere.
Margarita.
Yes, Margaritaville.
Alright, so basically, we have a 3 trials thing coming up. I don't think there's actually 3, I think there are a couple more. And they are, because we are at the end of development of this game, broken as fuck.
Right, and this background is even more animated than all the rest of them. Like, now it looks like we're in Space Quest 4.
Yeah, it actually does. Oh, I mean, I'm not an artist, but I think it's very nicely drawn, but it does look a little like they didn't have time to sort of clean it up, or... They basically just scanned in the concept art and threw it in as a background.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks like concept. It's much just the style is so different from even the other Chodak backgrounds.
Yeah, the one on Alanor was very much very sci-fi-ish, and they went in on computer and sort of smoothed over the colors and did some nifty things to it that I don't know how you normally do.
Like this one really says, like, you know, and they used to say that in on the CR games, like hand painted backgrounds, and and they were, and they looked cool, and this one would look cool if the rest of the backgrounds also looked like it.
Yeah, if they'd had a sort of a sort of unified, no pun intended, unified art style. But and this is a weird conceit that the game throws at you, because having watched the show, you're just going, oh wait, Picard is A, tripping balls, B, seeing an echo from his future, and C, inside a device that will, fuck with his head. So
mess with him, yeah.
Yeah, so your first instinct is, this, we're not going to trust this echo from the future. He is lying to us. Turns out you're actually supposed to listen to him.
Aha. Because there's been you've recently watched an episode where a Picard comes from the future, but he's weird and unconscious.
Yes, let's get on with it. He was just catatonic, and there's a lot of good face acting. Time Squared is the episode title.
Yes, that's the one.
That was one of the really, really good ones of season 2, I think. I love trippy shit, and I love how the last seasons they just throw caution to the wind and just go full on trippy shit.
Yeah, like, we know we're done, let's just do whatever. Any idea that we always wanted to do over the last 7 years, let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
This table is the apparatus for the second
yes.
One of the oldest of the Chodak
I was stuck here for a very, very long time. It's like a running gag towards the end of this game. It's like, I was stuck because I know how the puzzle is solved. These magnetic little half-moony bits are magnetic, they fit together, everyone is issued these magnetic bits, and you're supposed to send shocks. You're supposed to put them on the table, and you shock the person next to you, or both.
Right.
What you're actually supposed to do is gather them all together, stick them all together, and put them in one of the force field generators that will short-circuit it, and boom, you can just walk out without doing anything. But Brodnack is a piece of shit, so he insists. No, the Chodak.
Gonna mess with you.
Yes, the Chodak do not run away. And what you're actually supposed to do is join forces with Pentara to defeat him, and then at the very end, when she says, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, not kill him, and just have him hand over his shit. But this is one of those instances where you get control and you can walk over and you can look at this force field generator and go, it is so fucking obvious what I have to do, but the game won't let you because you have to trigger a certain event that you don't know how to trigger.
Right, so it's like you see the solution, you know what the solution is, but it's not the solution that the game wants you to come to.
Yeah, it's like you're not quite ready for this solution yet. Now, the first thing I tried to do was to go full pacifist, go full Picard, and of course that puts you in the shitter.
Right.
I think
The
I
device
fast
will
forward
be
here.
mine.
Wrong subtitle. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was the game.
You are both weak.
And he just puts the blast on us, and he is physically stronger. Don't know why.
Right.
Some electrifying fun later.
Because every alien is always stronger than us.
Yeah.
He's just like shocking you over and over again.
Yes. It is turn-based, and it takes frighteningly long for it to... Yeah. And he goes, boom,
Admiral's log started
and we're dead. That's what happens if you try and go full pacifist. Pentara doesn't shock you. Brodnack just goes full bzz, bzz,
A large
bzz on the
temporal
both of you.
anomaly was detected near her last reported position.
Oh
I
yes.
fear that either the
Send the
Kodak or
USS
Romulans
Hood
have
to
gained
investigate.
control of the
I'm
Unity.
sure they'll have
I'm
tons of
dispatching
fun.
the USS Hood to investigate.
Yeah, it's like send another ship to find what happened to the first ship. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So we'll try something else. You can either join forces with Brodnack. Very bad idea, because he will screw you. Pentara will... she's on equal footing with you, so
With a little ingenuity, we
you
could
can
disable
have
the
her
force
shock
field
the shit out of
generator.
Brodnack.
What you
Right, because
suggest is
she's
not
shown
to
through
my
the game
advantage.
that she can be reasonable.
Yeah, she can be reasonable.
Lose Brodnack.
And this is...
Brodnack has not shown that.
Oh, Brodnack is just full of shit.
Cooperate, we can all
This is the bit where I try to convince
I will
him
not fail.
that, you know, dude, we just need your magnetic thingy jigs and then we can get the fuck out of here. And he's just like, nope, let's do the test first. I'm into the test.
work together now.
He's like, we're here to take the tests. I like taking tests. I'm very good at tests.
Yes, because that's Chodak society. We like tests.
Brodnack will almost certainly defeat us both if we do not join forces.
So that's what. So you have to
We
go
concentrate our efforts
shocky
on
shocky
Brodnack,
on
we
them.
should be able to overcome
His
his
superior
superior
stamina. How does this even work? Look at him doing a merry little
Sworn
jig.
to regain the Unity device for my people. It is the destiny of the Chodak
No, but
race.
so they're just like shocking
But I
each other for the
failed.
right to take.
Yes.
Before you kill me, promise that you will use the power of the device wisely.
Oh, poor Brodnack.
I have no desire to kill you, Admiral.
And Pentara's just off in the corner going, I do!
He's like, I want to. Who made you in charge?
Our intentions are benign. You would be happier under
I love it. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you'd be happier if you were
Now, why we have
under
the
us.
advantage.
And Pentara is just full on bloodlusty. Just
Even if
no.
we defeat Brodnack here, the Chodak will.
And I guess you do
still
have the
to be
option of
dealt
killing
with.
him, or
Yeah,
does that
sure.
mess up the game too?
Oh, you can sure you can do that, but yeah, and
Not Picardy.
not very Picardy, but you can, sure you can do that.
Including the Chodak.
And this is one where you don't even have to read this option that you're given. It's just the longest option is usually the right one.
Right, exactly, because Picard likes to talk, right?
Yes,
So-
he does like, and he likes to lawyer up, and this is exactly what he does here.
Untested species
I actually don't know what happens if you kill off one or the other and then carry on, because wait, the other tests. I mean, the whole point of this is the old tired one. Let's all work together, and then we can attain what we want. But no, lots of infighting and shit. So the other tests don't actually require all three.
Right.
And this is where it gets interesting. What the hell happens here if Pentara is dead? Because you need those three little discs and stick them into this force field generator.
The air gap is larger than the upper air gap.
Oh, and this part is what I mean by the game won't actually let you do what you need to do unless you've looked at all the components here. Picard has to describe them out loud to you. Then when you exit the screen, he just bursts out, "Hey guys, I need your shit." That will not happen unless you have shocked the hell out of Brodnack and you've looked at every bit on the screen.
Right, and I guess from the game world logic perspective, maybe they felt, well, if you don't look at it as Picard, that means you haven't considered, you haven't looked at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which again is like, yes, but that's not really how we play games.
And this, you can tell these two jackasses, there's another way out of this repeatedly, and they will just go, fuck you.
Yeah.
But if you have shocked them and you have looked at the force field generator from top to bottom, then suddenly they change their tune. Brodnack is still like, really? I'm not too into this, but Pentara is all over it. Alright, cool. We can leave.
Yay.
And I just imagine Picard throwing that famous glance that he does when he's dissatisfied with something, just glances at Brodnack going, see what we could have done 15 minutes ago?
And we didn't have to shock each other and have me almost kill you.
Although that was fun in retrospect.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, it was kind of, a little bit pleasing to have to almost kill you.
The door leading to the control center.
Use the artifact I gave you, Jean-Luc.
Oh, that's Obi-Wan
Yeah,
Picard.
yeah, he went total Obi-Wan on us.
Use the artifact, Jean-Luc.
And Brodnack's like, did anyone hear anything? It's like, no. And,
we go.
And this is a weird one because you're supposed to bring them along with you. That's the whole point. Collaboration. Let's all be in this together. We just clicked use on this artifact, this round orby thing, and that teleported Picard. Now, if you click use on it again, it teleports them over. You would think you'd have to use it on them.
Yeah, not just like randomly use it.
Yeah. So this is an instance of the interface kind of dicking you over because you just go, all right, I made it. I don't know what to do now.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Get over here.
It's a short jump. You can make it.
Compromise isn't always a
Brodnack should just be able to sort of hover over there.
Yeah, he should, shouldn't he? Maybe he has to be really close to the ground to sort of stay
I think
upright.
his altitude is his flight ceiling is like 30 centimeters.
And it's a good thing that he listens to Picard at this point, because Picard was like hovering dangerously close to the edge. All Brodnack had to do was sort of strafe a little bit to the right and
Just
knock him
nudge
over.
a little.
That was it. Sorry. Yeah, collaboration is kind of fun when you're at the bottom of the chasm.
Damn your inevitable betrayal.
I hate you.
Hey, it's that guy from the ad.
That's the guy from the ad. Full second-class membership. And we're just going to stop here and have a look.
It appears to be some kind of cell or chamber. There is a being inside. What kind of creature is this?
Didn't you watch the video?
Legends claim the ancient Chodak created this.
How does this Unity device work? It's just a magical MacGuffin thing. It will create, it will destroy, it'll make you breakfast. I don't know. It can do anything.
Yeah. But that's like a very standard trope in these things. I mean, even or if you go to like, was it Knights of the Old Republic, whatever it was called. I can't remember what that Unity device thing was called. Oh, it was like the Star something. Anyways, everyone's yelling at me and I should know. But it's kind of like these big god devices from a long time ago. These ancient races that were all powerful. Yeah, it's just a very generic kind of trope.
Yeah.
I am here to make certain the Unity device
probably where the word MacGuffin came. I mean, I know the word MacGuffin comes from, the Maltese Falcon and all that. It's just a thing that we have to get. And in this case, it's just an all-magical thing. An all-magical MacGuffin.
The Unity device
should
be used for the good of all.
This conversation here is actually one of my favorite parts of the game. Not because it's fascinating or scintillating or anything like that. It's basically just this green furry dude pulls the wool over Picard's eyes. Yeah, here he goes. Father's disapproval, brother's resentment, and now after a while he starts throwing. You were also in the Borg, weren't you? And there's this one time when you got up drunk and started pissing in the corner of the bridge, and there's this one, and he just lists all of his transgressions and faults. Yeah, there you go. But I think it's really, really interesting that they went to the length of actually tying this into Picard's personal history.
I was young. Those were the mistakes of a
it is interesting. Oh, and I looked it up. It's the Starforge. That's the big super device from KOTOR.
Starforge.
Yes.
Not the Star Generator, which is another magical MacGuffin from a series we probably shouldn't mention.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it also makes a lot of references that, at this point you're used to the game being, just spewing bullshit at you. But if you're into Star Trek lore, it's actually mentioning all things that have happened during the series.
Yeah.
So they weren't just yanking shit out of their ass all this time.
Yeah, you're talking about Gul Madred. That's the There Are Four Lights episode.
I haven't made it to that one yet.
Oh no, but that's chains. It's either I can never remember if it's Chain of Command or Chains of Command. But that's a good one.
I will look forward to it because the Greatest Generation podcast uses that as a breaker between when they do edits, and there's just a sample of Picard going, "There are four lights," and I love it, but I haven't, because I have seen the series, but sort of out of order whenever it was on TV, and it was a long ass time ago, and that episode I don't remember at all. So I'm
and you get to, and that's also the episode where you get to hate Ronnie Cox.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
You'll enjoy it. He's such a dick in that episode. Those two episodes.
Well, he is fantastic at playing a dick. That's what he does best.
Yeah, him and Riker don't get along too well.
Is it just me, or anyone who comes on the ship, like Commander Remick, for instance? It's always, I mean, they're always dicks, but Riker is the one who really just seethes in the corner, like he's, you know, like white-knuckling the armrest on his chair going, fuck off the bridge, please.
Well, I guess you know, Riker's the first officer, he's second in command, so he's the one that has to, like, you know, Picard is the captain, and he makes all these, you know, long-reaching decisions and sets policy and blah, 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 but Riker's, like, the guy that has to do all the work and, like, actually get it done, so yeah, it's sort of like a shitty job in a way.
It was like when Wesley remained on the Enterprise, Picard was just like, and Riker, you take care of his education, and you can just see him go,
like,
what?
All right.
Oh, God, yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, and you know, you'll get later on in other episodes like Lower Decks and stuff like that, and sometimes you do get like these hints of like just what normal life is like on the Enterprise, and you know, Riker and Troy sitting there like, okay, now we have to do crew reports and like, you know, performance evaluations and crap like this, and it's just like, and yeah, all that junk sits on him, and meanwhile Picard sits back in his ready room and he's sipping tea and reading Shakespeare, and Riker's like, I have like 7,000 reports to do.
Picard, report to the ready room. I have some philosophical debates I wish to run by you.
He's like, you know how much work I have to do? Yes, you do know how much work I have to do because you gave it to me.
Yes.
You're a fool, Picard. I will not betray my...
Oh, and Pentara is not really... I mean, after all this shit, all of these high-flying speeches, if we just work together, Picard has saved her ass twice now. She still doesn't seem to get it.
Right, so she hasn't quite turned on us, but she's not really being cooperative.
Nah, she's just being speeding towards the exit kind of person. She wants to see the end of this game as badly as everyone else does. Perhaps even more badly. Now this unstable Garidian. I love the way he says that. Yes, you should go back to Garrett and seek professional therapy. That would be
like, so you should have teamed up with me and we should have shocked her.
Yeah, that's terribly funny, Fuzzball.
It appears her pride got the better of her.
And of course, now you can fuck off and just leave her there. But it's quite obvious that you have to get her out of it. Except Picard is standing right in front of the fucking button.
It's like, what are we supposed to do? Oh, there's a button behind me.
But that button was how we got the Capellan talking in the first place. But Picard,
okay, so at least you would...
Yeah. Picard just moves in front of it and doesn't bother moving out away again.
We all make mistakes. The only way to
like, I'll just get out of the way to reveal this button that you clicked before.
It's the same with the broken door puzzle in the previous episode, where you have to stick the logic inhibitor in this panel next to the door, and when you do, the character just stands in front of it and won't let you remove it until you sort of walk him away and then walk him back. And of course it was Troy I made do that, so the ire was all it. I don't know. It's a running joke. I really like Troy. Don't get me wrong. I just find it funny how she always bears the brunt of, you know, things that go wrong.
Yeah. It's just, I don't think it was ever planned that way. Just like how, you know, Geordi. There's always one character in every Star Trek series who's the one that gets like captured and beat up and tortured the most. And you know, in TNG it's Geordi. In original series it was Chekhov. In DS9 it's O'Brien. And I think in Voyager it's Harry Kim.
Yeah, he gets a ton of shit. Paris gets a lot of shit as well. Mm-hmm. But not as much because he's too handsome.
Yeah, but it's totally like in DS9 it's very much a thing. Like it's a O'Brien must suffer episode. Like there's just it's a thing.
Poor O'Brien.
I know.
Oh, and here's that. This is the last room in the game, and it suddenly went very HR Giger on us.
Yes.
And inform them of our
yeah, it's very like organic-y, alien.
Yeah. Well, they just came from the future, so they haven't had a chance to tidy the place up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mind the eggs in the corner. No, really, don't mind the eggs in the corner.
That the Borg Collective will destroy Federation.
I think it's just two people around covering around a microphone trying to read this.
And that weird sound effect over and over again.
Yeah. That sound effect will not shut up for the rest of the scene. And I don't know what's making that scene. Is it the bubbly thing in front of us that's making that noise?
I guess so.
All right.
Hey, look, it's the Borg.
Hey, there's a Borg fleet, actually. It's speeding toward us. We should probably do something. We have two options. Or do we?
the unity.
So there's again the
for the
non-Picard
even this
solution and the Picard solution.
There are two solutions. There are two lights. There actually are two lights.
Yes, so they are red.
We have to eradicate them.
It seems that yours is the deciding.
See, it's
vote.
funny. We're now like they sort of flipped. Like Brodnack is now like the reasonable one. He's the angel on your shoulder, and Pentara is the bad one.
Technically, they're both wrong. But yeah, but he Brodnack is all about. We have converted him. He's all about the cooperation shit.
Decisions together.
And now Picard just kind of dicked him over by his deciding vote was just to turn away and walk away.
The wisdom of that directive has been proven many times.
Leave it to Picard.
You have chosen wisely.
Well,
You have
thank
chosen wisely.
Yeah, thank you, Guardian of the Grail.
Be used to settle petty political disputes.
Do you age super fast and turn into a weird skeleton if you click one of the buttons?
Probably, yeah. If you take too long, maybe. Oh,
Who are you?
Oh,
We are the guardians of the device of unity.
the device of unity. Full name, device of unity.
There you go.
We've just been calling it the
Unity device.
Yeah, that's just the familiar name.
colloquialism.
Yeah.
That's what we call it when we're just talking.
The Unidev. It's just short.
We are weak at this time and place.
Oh yeah, the whole thing is phasing in and out of time, which is a convenient excuse for wait, we can't beam anyone out, and also
Right.
where did my away team go?
Yeah, that's what Data mentioned that that's when Riker was like, why can't we use the transporter?
Yeah, sulking as he or against his leaning wall, going, "Oh God, the transporter's not working again."
Of existence.
It's funny because like Riker should enjoy because then they might have had to use a shuttle, and he's apparently like the best pilot on the Enterprise, which comes up later in the series.
Really?
In this
I have
Yeah.
not seen him pilot a single shuttle yet. I am at the start of thrill season, but
But we agreed to
Actually,
share
that ends up being in those same in that Chain of Command 4 Lights episode. It comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Riker's the best pilot on the Enterprise, but for the last 6 seasons, we've never referenced that fact once.
What is your purpose?
it's interesting because when that little insufferable Pratt stole a shuttle and just didn't want to take the exam, fuck you, I'm out of here, and then he gets into the gravitational. But there's an episode where this youth steals his shuttle.
Yeah.
It's Picard who hauls his ass back, and Riker's just sitting there going, "Yeah, let the bastard burn."
Yeah, I think some of those little details, they sort of just bring them up,
Yeah.
as it serves the story. Because I guess technically almost everyone in the command path would have had some flight experience, because it seems like your entry into that is being a helmsman.
Yeah.
So I guess some people are a little more inclined towards it, and some people aren't. But everyone's done it.
Ew, we just saw Brodnack naked.
Gross. He who was Brodnack.
Yes. Now who is even more squishy than usual. Mm-hmm. Oh,
So it actually looked like he did have arms and legs. In
he
that
does.
little,
He does. Like little tiny squiggly legs.
it's like little Tyrannosaurus Rex.
And this is weird. There's a person beamed into that little orby thing in the distance. But that's not... Yeah, get me the fuck out of here. It wasn't
It's like,
Riker who
hey.
beamed in. It's actually 2 different Picards, but the other character sprite is so far away you can't make it out. And the first couple of times I played it, it was like, why did Riker beam down to tell him that? But
It's like, I'll just beam down into this little container.
yeah, this little cheese container. Ah, yes, and things are now going to shit.
We have the captain aboard yet?
Nah.
We have lost
Moo.
contact
Ooh.
again.
Everything's vibrating.
Yeah, and everyone's insight. I don't want to even think about what that does with the internal organs if things are like wiggling
Yeah.
around like that.
Escape course, 50% impulse. Transporter room. Keep trying to get a lock on the captain.
Go, go, go.
Yeah. Remember that time when we told you that the transporters wouldn't work? Yeah.
They still don't work.
Escape.
And that
And again,
is-
it's Riker. I like your implied lines here.
it was very late at night.
Oh, it looks like we made it out.
Yeah.
Nah.
And Worf's last line is, "We cannot escape." It's like, thank you.
Reports.
Can we have some positivity, please?
Injuries.
Yeah.
What about the captain? We were
Well, he was kind of...
I am picking up the captain's communicator signal.
It was like,
Somehow.
he's very dead. We should all prepare to mourn. Does anyone have the holodeck program ready? Oh, wait, there he is. He's just doing some calisthenics.
Yeah, a couple push-ups.
Yeah.
You know, gotta work. Interestingly enough, there was an interview with Patrick Stewart very recently, and he mentioned that because everyone asked him how he stays in such good shape, given that he's like in his 70s, and he says he just does a lot of push-ups every day.
Really, that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm sure there's more to it, but he's like just really lots and lots of push-ups.
Oh, I spelled Brodnack correctly now.
Yeah, so
and
I
there
guess
he
you
is.
saw his name.
And I think they just rendered this shot to see, okay, we're really badass at 3D rendering, because what the hell is he doing?
I don't know.
That's some...
He looks a little bit cooler in 3D.
He does, but not a lot. I will say, however, the Enterprise model they've got going here is really, really cool looking.
Oh, absolutely.
All systems operational, Captain.
Very well. Helm ahead, warp factor 2. Engage.
Second star to the right and straight on till morning.
That was the button on the episode. We're done here. Let's... I take this game very seriously.
It would appear.
Alright, so I actually recorded the entire credits if you want to have sort of a
wrap-up?
A wrap-up powwow of what we have just experienced. We actually talked more about the series in general than the game, I think, and that was good because it was more like a DVD commentary than a Let's Play commentary. And I thought that's not how I intended it to start, but the more we got into it, you know, the two of us being amazing nerds and all, it was actually, that was really enjoyable. This was just sort of the backdrop to smear our nerdness over YouTube, and I quite like that.
Yeah, and that's fun. I mean, after a while, you know, just kind of explaining, you know, what's going on in the game is like it gets a little old. So, you know, it's fun to kind of go off track. And I mean, we stayed pretty much in Star Trek, so that's good. You know, and that's why I would watch things like this, because I want to know more about, you know, things around the game.
Yes. Also, this is the point where I get another copyright notice from Viacom or whatever the hell lawyer company they got, and I have to dispute it because there's a ton of Let's Plays on top. But just make sure we talk over this so they don't...
Yes, exactly. La la la, please don't listen.
And they got individual credits for everyone who lent their voice to this, and it's pretty much just this... It sounded like it was just the same 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
But apparently there was a lot of them. And one of them is named Tree. That's just like his stage name.
Yeah, it must be one of those like single name people.
So anyway, what did you honestly think about the game from start to finish?
I mean, I think it tells a very, very cool story. I think if we had seen it as an episode, kind of a little... Well, you couldn't really do this as an episode. There's just so damn much. But...
more like a movie length thing, actually.
Yeah, probably more like movie length. And, you know, I think it's very, very interesting. The voice acting generally is quite good. As a game, the puzzles are didn't love a lot of them. And the combat thing just was stupid and should have been left out.
And it kind of gets a little rushed at the end.
Yeah, and definitely. And you can tell that a lot just between, you know, the art style, the fact that a lot of, like we said, the puzzles go really crappy at the end and things like that. And that makes sense, because I think I said this very early on in this series. It seems like they had some very, very, very lofty ideas that this was going to be the ultimate Star Trek game, and it was going to have everything that you'd ever want. And whenever you try and make the ultimate of anything, it ends up not being very good at anything.
Yeah, but they kind of wobbled between, do we make this an adventure game? Do we make this a simulator? I mean, we've got this story planned out. It is quite the epic story. I mean, not just the Federation is at stake. There's this empire who's going to blow up the entire galaxy if they so wish. Everyone's ass is in trouble here. But to squeeze that, I mean, they could have just made it a straight-up adventure game and focused on that single plot instead of having all of these diversions. It was like they were trying to tell, like, not an episode, but like half a season's worth of material, almost. Because every away team
definitely
mission,
a lot.
Yeah, every away team mission was kind of like an episode in and of itself. So it has this overarching story with these contained little episodes in the middle.
Yeah, which is super cool, and like that's how, if you go back to like the Interplay games, that's like absolutely how it worked. Every mission was an episode in and of itself, complete with like a title and all of that stuff. And here they tried to do more of an overarching, like you said, maybe more of like a movie scope of a story with these little episodes inside, which is cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think they bit off a little bit too much, probably.
I think they probably did. And it's interesting that when you start the game, it actually puts a final unity in the top right corner as, like the episode title fades in and out. Yeah. They should have just done that every time you beam down somewhere. Just have a little title. That would have made so much more sense. It's a nitpicky thing, but that would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can really look at it from either direction, because if you look at the game as a whole, it kind of meanders at times. But most of the missions did sort of contribute to furthering the overall story.
Yes, they did. And they were
all linked together.
And they were interesting. I mean, apart from the whole that thing where you have to fly the droid over these biotopes and shit. Some of it was tedious, busy work, but fundamentally, there was nothing wrong with each of those little away team missions. Could have been an episode on the real show. It wasn't like this reeks of fan fiction.
Or something, or this is like just they wanted an action sequence, so we like shot 1 million people or something. Like it was all Star Trek-y, and to be honest, Star Trek a lot of the time, sometimes there are episodes where it does get sort of tedious and talky and sciencey and a little bit dull.
And just watching people plow things through swamps over and over and over again. Yeah,
exactly. There's that, or there are episodes where they stand on the bridge and they talk for like the entire episode, and it, so I guess this game is like, I guess I could say it's like, it's a good representation of Star Trek, both the good parts of it and the bad parts of it.
Yeah, exactly. It actually succeeds in being a very Star Trek: The Next Generation game, for good and bad. And I think the one thing that pisses me off about it is the way it tries to solve puzzles for you. If you just wait around for a long enough time. But again, that falls back into, it's more Star Trek than a game.
Yeah, and other times, like we were talking about those timer issues and stuff, sometimes it just falls into some traps that other adventure games fall into, like random events or whatever. Like I remember, back, I can't remember which, I think it was an older AGI King's Quest, that you'd had to walk in and out of a screen like 10 times, and at some point in those 10 times something would happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, it gets a little more, a little more flack than I think it deserves, but it also deserves some flack from let's just say that one of us perhaps was a rabid Star Trek fan, currently resplendent in a Starfleet uniform that his mom had made him. It's not a perfect game for that person, but it's also not the most terrible adventure game I've ever played. I think the story is interesting enough to keep you going. It has a very slow start, and then it picks up tremendously near the end. Sadly, as the art style declines.
Right, exactly. It's almost like they were focusing a lot on the art and the look and the acting and all of that at the beginning, and then it sort of switched over and the action picked up and all that other stuff went away.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was. But no, overall, I'd say if you're a Star Trek fan, it behooves you to play the game, because it's another adventure, and that is, like we said, sometimes a little bit dull, but generally, I'd say some fairly compelling.
Yes, and it is the only Star Trek: The Next Generation adventure game in existence, so you're basically out of options if you want to play a Star Trek adventure game that's not TOS. So it has been absolutely a pleasure doing this commentary with you, Sergio.
It was so much fun. Thanks for offering and having me, and always a pleasure to chat with you.
You're too kind, sir. I must go put my pants back on. So.
Literally.
I'm making a face. I'm going to do the outro spiel here, and then we can talk about the pants some more in the green room. So, if you have enjoyed this episode and my co-host Joe, you would be remiss not to go to umbcast.com and check out his very excellent podcast, where he talks about games like these, games from the DOS and pre-Windows XP gaming era. And
I was wondering how long you were going to pause there.
It's not even a running joke at this point. It's just more of like that's the thing.
That's just how it is.
I love you, man. And of course, if you enjoyed the video portion of it, you can like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do. But do leave me a comment and Joe a comment, because we truly love the comments. We'd love to hear from you Star Trek fans. Are you as forgiving of the game as we are, even though we do recognize its faults? Or are we being completely...
fanboy-ish or whatever.
Fanboyish or heretical towards the legacy that is Star Trek The Next Generation of Final Unity. Let us know in the comments. Until next time, I will see you around the Chrono Stream.
Bye-bye.